I think it would have been fine. Obviously I would have never even started doing that in the first place. But if I had, I probably would have kept going with it. But yeah, oh my God. My heart, Patrick. Can't handle it.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
This is a very weird feeling for me.
What's that?
Blue is open.
Yeah.
This is day one.
Yeah, this is the easy part. I was talking to someone today, and I mentioned that Thanksgiving night I went to bed early, and I got a ton of sleep, and I was so happy about that. And they're like, you didn't have any stress dreams? I'm like, no, not about this part. The stress dreams are all about everything else we were doing for that store. The working it? That's the easy part. I've been doing that since I was 12 years old.
I still have a little bit of apprehension because I won't work it for a few more days yet.
It'll still be there.
So it's so weird to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it'll have been a while since I only worked on that system really one day.
Mm-hmm.
Then I haven't done it in a few weeks. So it'll come back
Sure.
to me. It'll just be things like, for example, when I asked you how you were doing today, you sent me... did you print out a...
No.
Okay. Was that a photo of the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't find, so I don't think the point-of-sale system has those graphs that are easily accessible anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's just no... Like, the function keys that'll bring that up don't do it.
Okay.
And nothing in the pop-up menus have a listing for that. So it's just like, this is how you look as you do a Vuex report.
But you just view it.
Yeah, you don't get to interact with it. You can't go to different days or look at it in different, like, fields. Maybe there's a way to do it in Manager, but I didn't have a ton of interest in looking for that.
I mean, I've never even gone over the how to Z out.
Oh, it's pretty simple.
I'm sure it is. I'm
Yeah.
sure it is. It's just two buttons now, but it's just a matter of knowing it.
The two advantages that we have for you working Mondays is that, one, I'll be working at the same hours in Bucktown, so if you have any questions, just give me a call. Secondly, I can remote into your system, so if you have any questions and it's not making any sense on the phone, I can remote in and just be like, here, look at where I'm pressing.
I was going to remote in today just to take over your system and be like, what's happening?
Yeah.
It's a new store. But then I figured if I did it, it'd be the worst time.
Yeah, probably.
So I didn't do it.
Yeah. There was an instance today where I'd ordered lunch.
Shake Shack, I believe.
I got Shake Shack. It was pretty good. I did a double cheeseburger and an order of cheese fries, which is just above the Dash Pass minimum.
I see. But no beverage.
No beverage, because they don't do DoorDash beverages, unfortunately. But I had...
Wait, DoorDash doesn't, or just Shake Shack?
Shake Shack through DoorDash does not do beverages.
Okay.
DoorDash will bring you beverages for other places, no problem. But when it showed up, multiple groups of people came in just as I had started eating.
Of course.
So I told a couple of them, like, we can talk, but I'm going to be eating Shake Shack while we're talking, because this is not getting any warmer.
I assume that was on the left counter?
No, actually, because the left counter was covered in balloons and flowers.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So it was basically where the second computer is going to go, because right now there's nothing, so it's a good place to eat.
Diane, you went above and beyond with all of your well wishes.
So many
and
things.
The blue flower sea was awesome.
Pretty great.
3 different key rings.
Yeah.
Gift cards.
Yeah. Cards.
Yeah. That's
a phone call.
Crazy. Oh, I didn't get one of those.
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. I shouldn't have. I was at Red.
Yeah.
So
my
unnecessary.
Aunt Jane and my Uncle Fred sent a bouquet of balloons as well.
So unnecessary.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
I want you to know that from where we are recording, I can see the silver star from Red 11 plus years ago, almost 12 years ago now. I still have it's right up there on that shelf.
Yep, there it is.
So now I have to add the new one to it. Thank you for thinking of us.
Thanks, Mom.
I also want to thank Bob Burns, who not only is a patron of this fine podcast.
No, you're thinking of Robert Burns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I still want to thank Bob
Okay, that's cool.
for coming out on Monday and spending all day helping install 12 track lights. This is his word. What was his word? Not enhanced. Was it enhanced? It wasn't enhanced. It was, I don't know. The painted C on the wall that I started, he finished.
Yes.
He updated, maybe update was the word. I don't know. He didn't want more credit. Like I was saying, like, oh no, you painted it. He's like, no, I just touched it up. Mm-hmm. I forget exactly sorry Bob, I forgot what word you used, enhanced or updated. But he did not use anything like improved or, did basically. Although to be fair, he made it way better.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you, Bob, for spending
Bob.
all day Monday out at the store. Thank you, Alexis Challenger, for spending all day with me Tuesday.
Yeah, good work.
Because Tuesday, so Bob came out on Monday because we finally got word that the counters were on their way. And we were told Monday or Tuesday, they don't know.
Yeah,
now
I can't remember when we recorded. I can't remember if it was. I think it was before we recorded because Friday basically we got notification.
Yeah.
Because I had called the people we bought the counters from. Hey, we haven't heard anything about shipping, so it seems like they're probably not going to show up in time for before Thanksgiving. Can you find out maybe when they're going to be showing up? And the guy got back to me and said they've already been crated up and shipped out. They are going to be there Monday or Tuesday.
Well, I remember he emailed and said, hey, I was just going to call you.
Yeah.
And then he called and got me on Friday and said, hey, they're on their way Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
Call me first thing Monday so we can narrow it down.
Right.
So that means I'm like, well, shit, I got to be out there as early as possible.
Yeah, because if he's West Coast, so if we call when they're open, the people could already be in Chicago trying to deliver those counters. So we couldn't just wait. We had to be there and then call California to find out where the counters were.
So I got there at 9 on Monday, which was not my plan. Mm-hmm. Bob got there at 10, and about 3:30, you got a hold of me and said, hey, they just got back to us and said the counters are in Elk Grove Village or somewhere.
Yeah, they were at the shipper's warehouse hub, whatever.
And they'll be in tomorrow, Tuesday, between 11 and 2.
Right. That was the window.
Which is kind of the time we were hoping not for it to be there because even though our schedule changes dramatically now, 11 o'clock is when I go pick up the books, or used to go pick up the books, for the week.
Right.
So it's like, all right, well, now we have to leave crazy early to be able to get the books, get back, drop them off at Red, and then get to Blue in time for
in time for 11 o'clock.
Yeah. So 11 to 2 was the window.
Yeah, I'd given them your phone number since you were the one who was going to be there, so that if they were circling the block or whatever, you could get a phone call from them and sort it out. And then I gave them my phone number as a backup in case they couldn't get a hold of you.
They did get a hold of me when they were outside of the store with the counters at 9:30 a.m.
on Tuesday.
When
we were at the bank. Luckily, we'd already picked up the books at that point, and we're heading back to Red. But then it was like, okay, well, we don't have a ton of time at Red, so we have to basically drop everything off. I would stay there.
Yeah.
You would rush out to River North. And I don't want to say thankfully, because it was a situation we shouldn't have been in the first place. But thankfully, the driver's like, I'll wait.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm a little bit early. You ready for me? Like, no, I'm minimum half hour away. Is it okay if I wait? Yes, please.
Yeah, I'd prefer it.
Thank you.
Please don't drive away.
It was a massive truck. He was parked across the street facing north. Mm-hmm. And the counters were the only thing in it, all the way up by the head, by the cab. Yeah, that was a super fun times, and I'd asked Alexis to help because she was with us for the Glow signing, which I guess we can talk about as well.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, I'm off, I can help. So I'm like, yeah, come by 11. So by the time she got there, the counters were already in the store. They were just in the store. They were partially unwrapped.
Right.
They were boxed up and then banded to pallets, and they were also stapled to pallets. Mm-hmm. And this time, I'm like, hey, man, you taking the pallets back? No, you keep them. Oh, we don't want these.
I don't want pallets.
They were very long pallets. But anyway, the counters got in, and as we are adjusting them, we realized that these counters are very different from what we expected and what we ordered. The cash wrap, which is the small one, didn't have a drawer, which we specifically ordered the drawer one.
Yeah, well, we didn't specifically. Yeah, I mean, they both came with drawers. You could opt for not drawers, but our invoice specifically said drawers.
Drawer, and we had asked for a hole to be drilled in on a certain side at a certain height. There were in fact 2 holes drilled all the way at the bottom, underneath the bottom shelf.
Yeah.
So, if you were just running cord through it to get somewhere, fine. But if you had cord from that specific computer, it doesn't help you at all. Or that specific wrap, it doesn't help at all.
Right.
The other shelves were 4 inches shorter than the ones we have now.
Yep, the 2 long counters, the 70-inch long ones.
So I said shelves, I meant counters.
Yeah, they were 34 inches high instead of 38 inches high. So the cash wrap is 4 inches higher than the other 2 counters.
And A, they're too short, so we can't do 2 rows of club boxes per shelf per counter. B, we couldn't anyway because there's a built-in little shelf underneath the lip by 4 inches down.
Yeah.
So it cuts into what little space there would have been. And then there's a middle mount, and instead of individual shelves, it's one giant long shelf. You can put in only one extra shelf. And it's vastly different.
Yeah, the interior is not what we'd ordered at all. The exterior is mostly good, but there's this weird aluminum cornering to it.
Yeah. They're a great color. They're a great color.
Yeah.
There's aluminum cornering.
That was one of the advantages is because these, basically the counter is like a blank slate and then you apply a laminate to it. So because of that, we were able to go in and look for, once we found out the laminate manufacturer they were using, we were able to go into that manufacturer's website, look at all the different shades and go, that shade of blue, and then take that code and give it to the people who are doing the counters and say, have them put this one on. And they're like, that's no problem.
You say we, but that was 100% you.
I mean, we as a company.
That was your idea entirely.
Oh, I don't want credit.
I mean, I'm the one who made us use Trio again, which I thought was a good thing. I guess not.
It was fine. I mean, I think the counters, it's literally only we will ever know what's wrong with the counters. Obviously, besides people who are listening to this episode of the podcast. But in general, the front of the counter looks fine. It's a good shade of blue. It matches our color scheme for the store. It can fit on top of it the things that we need to fit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it looks good, and it fits
the width of the store.
Width of the store really well, and it doesn't need to be farther back. It fits exactly where we were kind of planning on putting it, which is a huge load off my mind. That was the thing I was most concerned about, since I wasn't there for the unloading on Tuesday, was what if it doesn't fit? What if everything we've been kind of shaping the back of the store to do can't be done, and now we have to figure out a whole different way to do things? And luckily that didn't need to be done. It fit exactly where we wanted it to, and we can move behind it. We can get at things. It's just an unfortunate thing of we had an idea of what was going to go inside the counters. Now completely different things have to go inside the counters, and in my brain it's so different than red as far as where we're putting things that there were a few times today where I'm like, I gotta really look at every inch of this counter because I don't know where I would put some of these things.
Yeah, I mean, stuff is going to change too as we use it, but at least there's stuff there.
Yeah.
We are so different. I never once thought that the counters weren't going to fit.
Oh man!
And as the one who hung the grid wall, I stopped in certain places saying, "All right, this counter goes here, this counter goes there," and that's where they went.
Yeah.
But you were so hey, we're going to leave all the shelves and things here and the brackets here in case we have to change or move things around or add things or subtract. You even said we got to lose 1 2-foot panel.
I thought we would have to
because of the counters.
I thought the left counter was going to have to move up because I'm like, if we need to keep a diagonal space to move through, then it's going to have to go here because this one can't go this much farther back.
And to be fair, we are only worried about the gap between the counters because of me. You and Kent and anybody else who currently works for us has no trouble fitting through. I'm the one who needs more room.
Yeah, but...
And it's fine.
No, but that's the thing. Like, there's different body types, and I don't want to create a situation where, potential, signing guests or future employees are going to have a difficulty moving through. So if you couldn't move through it, it's not just the thing of like, well, Patrick's going to be inconvenienced. It's like, no, we have to fix this because that is not acceptable.
So again, thank you, Bob Burns. Thank you, Alexis Challenger.
Thanks.
Going backwards, thank you to George Brower again for all of your construction help. Thank you for Samantha Challenger for giving Saturday night a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Even Kent put in a few hours at that store.
Even Kent.
Not a lot.
Even
not
Kent.
not a lot. Let's be fair.
Still, because he needed that Thursday off, that was a negative hours. So whatever hours he pitched in, that just minimizes his negative impact on the store.
Ashley Challenger did a whole bunch of work at Red with you for a couple days for it.
Yeah, that was helpful.
Yeah, so thank you everybody who helped. Thank you again, Drew, for helping get those bookshelves in.
Jesus.
And what amazes me to no end is that 4 weeks ago today we got the keys.
Jesus, what an insane November.
And today you've already worked a full day at the new store.
Well, I mean, not a whole day. I definitely went to headquarters for a little bit. Did some basketball. Did some
because that's your go-to.
Some X-Men video game.
The hoop game is your go-to.
Mortal Kombat 2.
You bastard.
Blue was open for a few hours, though.
You didn't play Liu Kang, did you?
I would never play Liu Kang.
Yeah, because you'd lose.
No, Sub-Zero. He's the Star Master.
No, I know, but you were going to play Liu Kang to spite me is the point.
Yes, exactly. Nope, Sub-Zero.
So I don't know if I've ever told this story, and it's a weird story, and I don't know how it's going to be taken in this context, but when I was in grade school and high school, my dad, who had been in human resources for the food service industry for a very long time, and at one point we were going to move to Anaheim because his company, Zabo, got the contract for the Anaheim Stadium. But anyway, at a certain point, after having been in the food industry for a very long time, he bought a restaurant. He and a business partner bought a restaurant. It was, coincidentally, it was named George's. They weren't changing it. It was just named George's.
Were they both named George?
No.
Okay. So just he was named George?
One was named Jimmy. And I will... Well, I mean, he has a last name as well, I just won't say.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And they ran a restaurant for a while, but Jimmy was a recovering alcoholic, and then one day he stopped recovering, cleaned out the bank accounts, and disappeared.
Oh, golly.
So that restaurant died horribly, but my dad got a different business partner, and they decided to turn it from a family restaurant into a 50s and 60s themed nightclub.
Okay.
So the summer between junior high and high school, I worked at that restaurant. That's also when we got Rufus.
Oh, okay.
He had a few puppy days, like early days at the store.
Oh, neat.
And it was a matter of converting it into a whole different kind of restaurant, and all the food was named after 50 celebrities and a ton of autographed pictures, and he bought a junked 57 Chevy convertible and turned it into a DJ booth on the stage.
Oh, cool.
And it was a labor of love. It was called American Bandstand. He actually got the rights to use that name.
Oh, excellent.
It was in Yorkville.
Sure.
And it was my job. I was a dishwasher there as well for both restaurants. There was a movie theater across the street. That's how, like, some nights I'd be like, oh, we're slow and I don't have to watch dishes for a while, so let's go see, I don't know, Chariots of Fire or excuse me, Grease 2.
Oh God, Grease 2.
That's your time period.
Yikes.
Anyway, the opening night
of time where no good movies came out.
American Bandstand. Packed house, big night, super busy. I went up to my dad and said, "Dad, how's it going? It looks great in here. It's so busy." And he looked at me and he said, "It's not enough." And he knew right then that this wasn't going to work.
Wow. And
it only lasted, 9 months after that, or not even. And then it went away.
That's sad.
And I bring that story up because I had expectations for today that we did not meet.
Sorry.
Did you?
No.
You had no expectations.
I had literally no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah. This is a weird day for... I mean, we definitely were learning about the city and the location we're at.
Yeah.
Black Friday was the first day we're open, but it seems like a lot of businesses, a lot of offices were closed.
Yeah.
And I think we'll have a lot of business or office clientele that we just didn't see today.
Yeah, like, I'm going to go out on a limb and say your Monday is probably going to be bigger than our Friday was.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because
okay.
people will be back at work, they'll be out for lunch, they'll be passing by the store to get to work or whatever, or on their way home to the train. Today was tricky for River North because, like you said, obviously a lot of people who will be our clientele are people who work in the neighborhood, and they were not working in the neighborhood today. Additionally, like, that stretch of Franklin is not exactly like huge Black Friday businesses. Like,
I mean, you say that, but we're right next to a couple of boutiques and clothing stores, and
right, but I mean, I did not see a ton of people going up and down the street to anything.
Yeah.
Starbucks probably was doing okay, but I didn't see a ton of cars going by. I didn't see a ton of people going by. I mean, the neighborhood seemed pretty dead. Also, we did not advertise anywhere. So the only people who'd know about the store would be people who normally shopped at Challengers in Bucktown or followed us on social media, and they're who came by. You know, we saw a bunch of them.
We did have a lot of well-wishers from Red come by and say hi and check out the space.
And we legit had people who had never been to Challengers Red and came into Blue, and they bought stuff and they were excited. Like, we had some new people. It just, I was not surprised by how slow it was, considering, like, I've worked Mondays in Bucktown when it's been like a federal holiday.
Sure.
And we don't have that nightly traffic that we would normally have around, like, from 4 to 6 of people getting off work because no one's at work that day. Which is why we usually close at 5 on those days, because it's totally dead. This was very much like a Monday federal holiday would be in Bucktown, where there's some activity between like 11 and 3, and then it trickles off after that, and then it pretty much stops dead at 5. Like, that's just the arc of it. Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be different next year when we're more established.
Sure. And
we might be doing like a Black Friday sale of some sort. But we weren't doing any special sales today. We were just open. And, yeah, I mean, we did kind of what I would expect to do considering the factors involved.
We did have a guy come in today who, as he was walking north up the block, we could see him through the window, and I said, "Hey, look, it's Tony Stark Jr., the guy who looked a lot like a younger Tony Stark." He came in, he's looking around for a while, has a nice stack of books, and he comes up to the counter, not ready to check out, but he said, "Can you remind me which books are half off?" And I said, "Oh, hey man, I'm sorry, nothing is half off." And for the people that asked about Black Friday, my response is, nobody outright said, "What are you doing for Black Friday?" And I was going to say, "Opening a second store."
I had a few people this week who'd asked that.
Yeah, but like not on the day of.
No.
One kid poked his head in. "What's on sale today?" Like, nothing is on. It's all for sale. Nothing is on sale. No Black Friday sale. Left immediately. This guy's like, "But I read something on the internet. What did I read?" So he walks away, and then he comes up with his phone. He's like, here's what I found. And I said, "Where did you find this?" He goes, "I just went to Facebook and searched Black Friday comic shop sales." And he had the full rundown of everything we were doing for our sale
last
2018.
year. Yeah.
He's like, "I never noticed the date."
Sorry,
I'm like,
dude.
"Yeah, but like that's happened. But like literally, this happened before. People found things from many years past."
We've had people ask about upcoming signings, and it's like, we're not having them in. Oh, you found a flyer or a listing of a signing from that day last year.
But it's mainly Facebook where that always occurs. So he then painstakingly put everything back and left.
Aw, that was nice.
Yep. So only those two, really.
Sure.
We were very busy today, which is great because we got to make up for being closed yesterday.
Yeah. That's the trick of every Friday after Thanksgiving is you can't just have a good Friday. You have to have a Friday that's good enough to make up for a day that you were closed.
And for as good as this Friday was, it was not Thursday, Friday good.
It depends on the Thursdays and Fridays. I've seen some Thursdays and Fridays lately where
I didn't say it didn't beat
that.
Thursdays and Fridays. I said it wasn't
Sure.
Man, I hate that this cold is still lingering around. Sorry for all the
Maybe
coughing.
if you got some sleep.
That'll never happen. Here is the story I promised you from earlier.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Yes.
there is an event that happened today that I told Dal about briefly, and I said I was inadvertently super mean to a kid who may or may not be developmentally disabled.
Okay.
And I didn't mean to do it, but after when there was a little lull in the store, I ran out to start emptying my car because my car was full of things we took back from Blue.
Sure.
And one of the things was all of the tools.
Right.
So I'm in the back of Sidekicks, where all my tools live, putting them back where they go and condensing things and whatever. And there's a kid who had a younger child who, or I don't know, 8, 9, or 10.
Okay.
Walks into the room, and the kid goes, "Hi, Batman." So I, in the back room, go, "Hi." The kid goes, "Oh, did you just talk?" "Of course I talked. I'm Batman." "Are you real?" "Batman is always real." "Batman, you're my best friend." "Thanks." "I love you, Batman." "That's real kind of you to say. Thank you so much." And I'm not doing the voice. I was trying to do more of.
You didn't tell this kid that Batman was his best friend?
No.
Aw.
I mean, his best friend is Alfred.
Total one-way
Everyone knows
street.
that. So then the kid's like, "Mom, you guys, Batman's talking to me."
Oh.
So he gets his whole family,
Uh-huh.
and the mom's like, "I think I heard him talk to you." So the whole family comes in. He's like, "I love you, Batman." And I'm like, I can't do this now because the adults will clearly hear the voices coming from the back room.
Uh-huh.
So Batman just stopped talking to the kid.
Aw. I think the family would have loved it if you would have been talking.
I don't know.
I don't think they would have been like, it's just a guy back there.
I thought they would have been like, "Are you teasing our son?"
Oh, no. I think it's...
So then they're like,
oh, no.
They're like, "Wait, maybe it's motion activated. You should move."
Oh, no.
Or what if they have to be over there? Because the mom's like, I'm pretty sure I heard him talking. I know he was talking. "Batman, I love you."
Oh, no.
So I snuck out the back and went in through the back behind the counter and waited until they left to finish putting away my tools.
Story makes me so sad.
I told you it was. I did a mean thing
sad
by
for that
accident.
kid. Oh, no.
And even the mom's like, "I guess the batteries ran out."
Oh, no. Oh, my God. That is a bummer. Oh, man. It's not a mean thing. I see why you would make that calculation of, like, is it worse if I do this or I don't do this?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like,
It's like,
oh,
I
my
didn't
God.
stop doing it to be a dick to
No,
the kid.
of course not. Because I see what you're saying with, like, I don't want to make the family think that I'm taking advantage of this kid. But it's...
And I don't want the magic to be ruined, like, "Oh, it's just a guy in the back room."
But I don't think they would have done that.
No, it's not.
I think they would have heard it and been like, oh, Batman likes you. Like, Batman's your friend or whatever. Like, I think it would have been fine. Obviously I would have never even started doing that in the first place. But if I had, I probably would have kept going with it. But yeah, oh my God. My heart, Patrick. Can't handle it. If you're the family of that kid listening to this podcast, please bring that kid back in. One of us will sneak around to the back of Sidekicks and tell that kid that Batman hopes he takes his vitamins.
It's what says his prayers.
No, Batman doesn't believe in God.
God believes in me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, sorry, kid.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Oh,
And then
no.
they left quickly, and I was gonna say something like,
Because the kid was crying?
no, like, they were done or whatever. But I was gonna say something like, "Hey, Batman said goodbye" or whatever.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, anyway.
Yikes.
So that happened.
Oof.
I feel like moving forward, this podcast is just going to be a sum of the events that happen at both stores, and it's.
You think?
Well, I mean, it has to be because
Okay.
we'll each have.
Sometimes
extra
we talk
stories.
about things that don't happen to the store, like things that happen in the comics industry.
Well, I know, but I mean, it'll be when we talk about the store. We talk about the stores.
I see.
That was my way of transitioning to things in the comics industry.
Oh, interesting.
First, I think that it'd be not entertaining, beneficial. I don't know. A good topic to talk about how the Diamond messed up our systems this week with the work orders. Thor #1 or Giant Size X-Men.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. There was a problem with our recent update to Comic Suite that ended up... A batch of Marvel books is releasing on January 1st, and they're not in the main catalog, so...
See, the problem, what other retailers think, the problem is that Marvel considered those January shipping books,
Right.
when in fact Diamond considers those December shipping books.
Right.
Because those books are shipping to us in December.
Yeah, and on top of that, because of the way the holidays work out, the FOC dates would not be January catalog FOC dates.
Yeah.
They are December catalog FOC dates. Which it was a different issue entirely, which pissed off a lot of retailers when they found out that all of that week's books would be on final order cutoff 10 days before the catalog was due, which is ridiculous. So anyway, all the January 1st books, not only from Marvel, but I think maybe from Image as well, but all the Marvel books especially were not in the catalog. They could only be ordered on final order cutoff or directly through Diamond. You could not place orders through the monthly catalog. So we did that, and one of the things that's supposed to happen with Comic Suite is that when you're ordering these books, that you have subscriptions for these titles. So it'll prompt you to say, hey, you're ordering X amount of copies, 50 copies, let's say, of Marauders. You've got 25 people down for Marauders. Do you want to make sure that 25 of the copies that you're ordering get pulled for your subscribers? And you, of course, say yes, so that when those books come in January 1st or for January 1st, they're given to the correct subscribers and the appropriate amount of copies go onto the shelf. What had happened with our system was that it did not do that for the #1 titles that were on that week. Star Wars #1, Thor #1. It did not prompt us to pull those for subscribers. All the other titles that were coming out, it did. So we had gone in and said, okay, well, we're going to take that specific issue and then go into Comic Suite and say, pull it for these subscribers. The problem was, for that and then for things we were adding from the next catalog, like Giant Size X-Men #1, was that when we were creating subscriptions by item instead of by the individual subscriber, our Comic Suite screwed it up and created a special order that is not a special order. It created a kind of phantom special order that would then come up when we would go into point of sale to bring up someone's books, but that book hadn't arrived yet. It won't arrive for another 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'd have to void it out and then go back into the transaction, and then it wouldn't be there again. But at the same time, when we would go into Comic Suite to maybe void these out in bulk, none of them would appear in Comic Suite. It existed only when you would bring up a sale in point of sale, not anywhere else in the system. And we know that because we had to call Diamond to get them to remote into our system and fix it, and the technician at Diamond could not do it and had to remote in with a programmer from Diamond, not even a customer service rep, but a programmer who works on Comic Suite. And then they couldn't figure it out, and they had to take a whole backup of our system on last Tuesday to work on it. And we didn't hear anything Wednesday. We didn't expect to hear anything Thursday or Friday. Hopefully we hear something Monday, but in the meantime, it's a huge hassle because it means that for most of our subscribers, because guess what? A lot of people subscribe to X-Men, which means they're subscribed to Giant Size X-Men #1. Every time we bring up their account in point of sale, we have to exit out of it and then go back into it to get their books to populate correctly.
It populates as what's called a work order.
Yeah.
And then it's fine. You just say, fine, cancel this transaction.
Right.
But it takes like up to 2 minutes.
Yeah. So
to
you're sitting
do
there
it.
with someone at the register and you can't ring up their books. And you don't know ahead of time until you bring up their account and go, oh, yours was booby-trapped and now we have to get out of it and we have to redo it. And in the meantime, we can't add anyone regularly to books like Giant Size X-Men #1 or something else because Diamond, in an attempt to fix it, completely eliminated it from our system and from the monthly catalog. So when we bring the catalog back in, that book ain't there. There's literally no way we can add that book to anyone in our current database. So they have to fix that too. So it's a fun time period because it's literally the worst time something like this could happen because there's no one around to fix it. If it's going to take more than 10 minutes to fix, it's not going to get fixed until after the holidays. So
Yeah.
that's great.
And what was the same issue with Blue?
Same issue with Blue.
As far as our order doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, orders the entire catalog order that we had placed.
October.
Yeah,
for December.
Yeah, it was. We placed it like the last week of October, I think.
What had happened was we found out we were getting Blue the day the orders were due for December.
Yeah, and it took a couple days for us to get our account turned back on for that, because there was a month basically where we didn't know if it was going to happen, so we had them turn that account off. They turned it back on, and we rushed to get the catalog.
But the day that we found out was the day the orders were due, so you did the orders. You sped through the order pack.
Yeah. Couldn't upload it, though. No way to upload it. So on Monday, which was after it was due, we were able to get it. Monday or Tuesday, we'd end up talking to someone at Diamond, and they gave us what amounted to like a new account rep for the River North Blue location. And, it sent it to her, and it got uploaded, and we can go to Diamond's retailer services site and see that the order's there, the books are ordered, but our comic suite does not see it for some reason. It just 100% does not see any orders that we have not already received at that store. So like the final order cutoffs we've done, they're not seeing it. The initial order that we placed, not seeing it, which is frustrating because we've got subscribers now that we want to make sure that they're getting their books. But until we actually receive those books, like literally the Tuesday that we're receiving them, it won't do anything about subscribers. So we have to, for maybe the next few weeks, go by hand through our subscribers to say, okay, let me look at the list of what they're down for. Okay, I'm going to set these 3 books aside, then add them from stock, which means in the meantime they're not getting emails telling them what books are going to be coming in. It's a hassle, but it's like a hassle it's going to be for like 2 more weeks, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then it's done. And we don't have that many subscribers, so it's not a huge fiasco like it would be in Bucktown, but it's still just like one of those like, why?
But even so, let's say you sign up a new subscriber tomorrow and they want X-Men.
Yep.
It's going to start them with number 6.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't see
3, 4, and 5 having been ordered. Yeah. And I mean, it's a thing that maybe Monday I could call up Diamond and go, is there any way to pull that order down to get all those copies to be on order so these things are not unmatched receiving every week for the next 3 weeks? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll do that Tuesday when I'm there and I've got the books and I got nothing but time because we're getting 2 boxes of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll be there for 8 hours.
Wait, you're getting 2 boxes of stuff, but the bill is...
I'm sorry, I'll be there for 9 hours.
Close to 4 digits.
Uh-huh. It's definitely 4 digits. It's close to 5 digits.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, it's we'll see if I got time for that on Tuesday. I probably will. I don't expect them to have a fix for it because it might just be a thing of like, oh, you did that before Comic Suite existed, so it doesn't matter.
Weirdly, I have 2 more Diamond issues to talk about this week.
Oh, golly.
Number 1 being that we were so concerned about the bookshelves and the counters not showing up on time.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't expect a massive 20-box Image DC order to A, not show up before we open, B, we still have no idea when it's coming in.
Nope. Emailed our rep on I'd been emailing them for a while and they were checking into it and credit department still got to fill it out or do whatever, and it's like, well, the store's going to open and we need those books. And spoiler, didn't show up in time for the opening. But when I think Tuesday or Wednesday, I was shooting emails just as do we know anything? Is there any chance of these things showing up anytime soon? We really need these books. There's a ton of stuff in there that we were planning on having for the opening. Because, I mean, I don't know if people listening to this know anything about the comics industry. DC and Image are pretty big publishers, especially for graphic novels. So not having those kind of doesn't make us look real great. But unfortunately, that rep is out of the office until Monday, so I don't know if she'll even see it or if she can do anything about it. So right now, it's just like one of the things that we submitted almost 3 weeks ago was a thing that I'm like, I never was worried about that being late. Never, because that's like, counters and bookshelves, like, shit, yeah. I mean, this is going to take some time. It's got to go on trucks,
but
whatever.
But a Diamond order, we do those all the time.
Yeah, a Diamond order, it's all in-stock merchandise. Here you go. these are the item codes. Here's the quantities. That's usually something that we get in 2 days.
And the
idea that it should take 3 weeks to not even ship out yet is like, how is this possible?
Another annoying part of that is because we expected that to ship out when we weren't open.
Right.
It's coming to Bucktown.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that was part of it. Contacting them was like, do not send it to Bucktown anymore. Please send it to River North because now we're going to be open and we don't want to have that product go to a store that then has to make its way to the other store. Just send it to River North. But again, can't get a hold of anyone. Don't know.
Nope, no idea.
And then additionally, we got screwed on our first invoice, our first actual new book invoice for River North, because there was a program that we requested to take advantage of, which was, it's called Consignment Front List, and it basically means for participating publishers, vendors, you can get the product on a returnable basis, and in 2 months you return what you didn't sell, and then they bill you for what you did sell. We are just getting billed for everything, and that's not right. But again, by the time we saw that, it was Wednesday, because that's when the invoices go up. And that Wednesday,
done for the holiday.
There is no one there. They even let people go home early from the main office because I guess they had some sort of building problem. So even if we could have called somebody, there is no one to call. So I don't know what we're going to have to pay them next week, and I don't know if they can fix that for the entire catalog. That seems like the wrong programs were applied. So it may just be a thing where what was supposed to be the first 2 catalogs may be the second and third catalogs. And that's also a problem because the current catalog has to go in Monday. And if I can't get a hold of anyone, I don't know if they're going to apply the wrong programs again. So this is all very fun. Diamond's new accounts department is kind of...
Isn't it like 5 a.m. Monday?
I'm pretty much going to send it in Saturday and hope for the best.
Okay.
Yeah, all of the Diamond new account stuff has been way more... I don't want to say sloppy, because I don't know how much we've made things worse by not having as much lead time as we probably should. We would have liked to have had an additional month to get all this stuff straightened out. But the amount of times that we've had to kind of double and triple check things and essentially chase people down, emailing and then emailing again the next day and then calling after that, because it's like, why can't we get an answer to a question? This is, our livelihood, more or less. Like, this is a brand new store. And yeah, I've found the entire experience with Diamond to be far more frustrating and anxiety-inducing than almost any other vendor that we've dealt with to start the new store.
For those of you who remember us raving about all the programs Diamond had last week and how great it was of them, Great Assault?
Yeah, exactly. They're great if you're actually getting them.
Asterisk.
If they apply them to your account, they're great. If they don't, less great. Yeah, again, it's just like Diamond is the company that we've been dealing with weekly, daily, for over 12 years. Just at Challengers, we've been dealing with them basically since like the end of 2007.
And we've talked about this before. How great would it look for us if they actually reported
all that
to
was
credit
on our credit
agencies?
report? Yeah. But the idea that this stuff that I feel like we know what we're doing. We can get that information to Diamond as quick as we can in a way that they want it. I mean, obviously, aside from the can you please send it to the store that's open, not the store that's not open yet. Everything else we try to give them as fast as we can and exactly in the way they want it. And it's just like, holy shit, I never thought this stuff would take this many weeks. Like, this is in-stock product that you just have to box up the same way you do the reorders that we place every week. Like, how is this taking this long? Why are these things not working right? Very frustrating to me, because every time I see this, it's like, great, that's more time out of my schedule that I have to spend calling Diamond, figuring out why something that was supposed to happen hasn't or didn't happen. And I don't like doing that. I want to be done with that part of the process.
Well, look, I understand that, and you make some valid points, but it's not like they just leaked everybody's personal account information to other retailers, right?
I heard that happened. Did we get that? I never even saw anything.
No, we didn't, but so there was a accidental data breach by Diamond. They weren't hacked.
Yeah, it wasn't a data breach.
It was basically one Diamond employee who was trying to let specific accounts know about the books that are on Christmas FOC.
Mm-hmm.
like people that I guess hadn't ordered or whatever,
Sure.
accidentally attached a document to these retailers, and there's rumors that it was like 200 retailers. Then somebody else said no, it was everybody. I'm sorry, it went to 200 retailers, but the document itself contained all the information about other stores, their diamond discount, their ordering, sales information, things like that.
Wow.
Not like credit card numbers or passwords,
Sure.
but, location and sales and quantities and things
Sure.
like that, which is a lot of people are interested in those kind of things if they want to expand or they want to see what their competition is doing or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we don't really know...
That's a huge thing about, like, in general, why people didn't want to use certain point-of-sale systems is because they were afraid of, like, where is this data going? My data is valuable. I do not want you to just have it. So the idea that Diamond is taking, their store information and just saying, like, here, all, 200 other stores, here, enjoy.
So we don't really know exactly how many different people got the information.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm getting this wrong. 200 plus stores got the information. We don't know how many stores the information was about.
Right.
And Diamond was supposed to contact you if it was your store.
Yeah.
We have not been contacted, but they've also been off for a while.
Right.
And again, I've heard some retailers say it was every account. Other people say it was only a handful of accounts.
Sure.
I don't know. But it is definitely not the kind of thing that looks good for them.
No.
It was just a document that was attached
Yeah.
and got sent to people. I mean, it must be a huge document, but you get the idea. So they're dealing with that as well. And they almost made it hard for stores to find out about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, if it wasn't for the retailer groups that I'm a part of, I would have missed it in the daily email.
Sure.
Did you see it when I sent it, before I had sent it to you?
I did, yeah. It was in the Diamond Daily, and it was just like a message from the president of Diamond about... Because it was this coded thing about a recent event.
Yeah, it didn't in any way say, hey, click on me, it's important.
Yeah, I clicked on it not because of the apology, but I'm like, what recent event? And it's like, oh, that's not good.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, bit of an oopsie.
Dal, do you know what the hot button topic in comic industry, not retail, the comics industry is this week? So much of a hot button that right before we started recording, I found an article, I can't remember if it was on a BBC website or The Guardian, about this topic.
Oh, the Batman Golden Child cover?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Ho, ho, ho. One of the covers for the upcoming Dark Knight, the Golden Child comic by Frank Miller and Raphael Grandpa is Batwoman.
Yeah.
Who has an all-black costume.
Carrie Kelly.
The
Golden Child.
Holding a Molotov cocktail and kind of about to throw it off the page. You've seen that?
Oh,
Raphael
yeah,
Grandpa cover?
Okay.
Enormously controversial.
Okay.
Because DC used it in a social media post promoting the upcoming release of Dark Knight Returns, the Golden Child, to which Chinese Weibo users said, this is totally promoting Hong Kong protesters. Hong Kong protesters wear all black. Hong Kong protesters use Molotov cocktails. The Golden Child refers to some of the yellow, armbands and paint that the Hong Kong protesters have been using.
I thought it was an Eddie Murphy movie.
Everything involved in this is supporting the Hong Kong freedom movement, which, as anyone who's been living in America the last few weeks and following the media knows, that's a great way for a giant multinational corporation to get really nervous really fast. So DC pulled the image from their Twitter account, deleted the tweet, which then, in turn, if you've been living in America and following the media for the last few weeks, knows that's a great way for people in America to get really angry at you for kowtowing to Chinese communist pressure and the desire to still make money in communist China. So that's been a bit of a kerfuffle, you might say, for the last couple days.
And I actually thought that was a very striking cover.
I like it too. Yeah, it's a weird thing of just if people are seeing that in there, if Chinese nationals are seeing that and feel like it's supporting, the protesters in Hong Kong, it's hard for me as someone who is not involved in either side of that to go, oh yeah, absolutely, total coded message. Instead of looking, I'm like, it's just a drawing of Batwoman, and it's in a storyline where it's a riot in Gotham. It's so yeah. I mean, there are definite similarities in the sense of there are people in Hong Kong that are rising up against oppression. But I mean, the idea of this is sending a message showing Raphael Grandpa and Frank Miller's and DC's and Warner Brothers and AT&T's support of Hong Kong. I don't know that it is. No. I don't know that that's what it's showing. But yeah, again, it's the problem of you can't even, the whiff of that means that potentially your movies don't open in China anymore.
Oof.
Yeah. So
oof.
You can't it's a really awful position for American companies to be in right now, and it's of their own making for the most part. I mean, they wanted money from a communist government, but now they have to play by communist government rules, and it's not necessarily what we as Americans would like them to do.
Yeah, I am very behind on current events, comic books, movies, TV shows. I'm so far behind in all the X books. I've only watched one episode of The Mandalorian. I've not watched Watchmen at all. There's just been a whole other store to open.
Yeah.
Although I'm current on AEW, and that's what's important.
And Taskmaster.
I'm not current on Taskmaster.
No?
This is just
they're
up to season 9, and they're just slowly releasing earlier ones.
Ugh.
Yeah, without no, I'm not. I mean, I do kind of love Taskmaster. It's an obsession, and it makes me so happy, which is a thing that A, I need in life, and B, a TV show should not fulfill that.
It should not be a reason
role.
to live.
Yeah.
No, I guess not.
But what I was talking about
what's that?
is not Michael B. Jordan as Superman, because I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm more into the idea of Michael B. Jordan as Superman than I am J.J. Abrams' approach to Superman, because I've read J.J. Abrams' approach to Superman before, and it was not good.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
Yeah, and you're currently reading J.J. Abrams' approach to Spider-Man.
Ugh.
Yeah, but if you were to use one word to sum up the X-Men Comics Marauders,
yes,
what would it be?
Good.
No, the theme of the book.
Piracy.
There you go, buddy. That's the word I wanted.
Okay.
Piracy is the big issue right now.
Not about Marauders, though. Is
No.
Is that Outpost Zero thing?
No, Outpost Zero is just one of the many people. It was actually Jim Zub who got the ball rolling on this.
Jeez.
Basically, more and more comic creators have taken a deep dive into piracy numbers.
Sure.
And we'll use Outpost Zero because that's the one that you and I both read.
I remember reading Jim Zub talking about this way back when Skull Kickers was coming out.
Yeah, and now he's basically, finally other creators are looking into it. But Outpost Zero is a book that opened to, maybe 6,000 copies?
Oh, no, it was like 8,000.
Okay, for issue 1.
Yeah.
Canceled by 13 because the sales are abysmal.
Yeah, they were like below 2,000 copies.
And there's a piracy, one piracy site?
The only reason they got that far was it's a Skybound book, and Skybound can underwrite stuff like that. If that had been like a creator-owned book and image, oh my god, it would not have made it to issue 3.
Outpost Zero number 1 on just one pirating site, 67,000 reads.
Yep.
And this is
a book that collectively across 13 issues did not sell 67,000 copies.
No. And this is how it is for every book, and Jim Zub's been talking about this for years. Everybody's talking about it for years. Obviously, these are not 67,000 lost sales.
No.
The people that are pirating them are reading them because they're there and they have these sites.
Yeah, and they're free, yeah.
But these sites are the problem and shouldn't exist, but you can't police them because they're like Hydra. Whenever you shut one down, 2 more are there.
Yeah.
And you could have full-time employees as from your publishing company going to look for things just to shut it down. But like Image properties, it's all a matter of who owns what, you know? Like someone said to Sean McKeever, like, well, why didn't you get a cease and desist or whatever? He's like, I don't ultimately own that property. Yeah. It's not my thing.
Skybound's legal team would have to do that. And again, you know, first of all, like, you know, you shut down one site or you submit one DMCA takedown request, and it's like, well, where is that server located at, and what are they going to do about it? And sometimes they could be in a country where they don't care, and they're not going to rush to do anything for you.
I mean, if that was an easy thing to do, websites like Redbubble wouldn't exist. You know?
I mean, if you could easily take down stuff, Disney would have done it already.
Sure.
It would. These sites, the language to describe these sites would have been stricken from memory.
When I was on the Comics Pro
would not
board,
exist.
There were constantly Facebook groups that were just, hey, I bought my comics for the day. I went home and scanned every page.
Yep.
Here you go, everybody.
Yep. There's scan groups that just, here you go. Here's everything.
And the number of emails I had to be like, hey, David Gabriel, here's another one.
Yeah.
Here's another one, or whoever it was at the time.
If now, if you were someone in the world who had access to the internet and had an interest in reading Batman comics, you could go to a site and download literally every Batman comic ever made.
Why would you do that, though? Because Batman is mean to young children. He doesn't say he loves them.
He was just shy. Plus,
true.
he only loves Alfred. And that's rough because, Alfred.
And Ace.
It's...
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible thing. I did not look at...
There is no solution. And it's funny to me because anytime anyone is complaining about something on the internet, there's going to be a rush of like, well, why didn't you do this or that? Like, every time we complain about delinquent subscribers, which, oh my God, everyone in November, if you came into Challengers to buy your subscriptions, thank you.
You're the minority.
You are so rare. You are a precious unicorn because so many people were just like, I guess, way too busy. Maybe they were opening stores too. That would explain it. But every time we complain about delinquent subscribers and people not coming in to pick up their subscription books, we get a lot of armchair retailers that are trying to tell us, well, do this and that, and this will solve the problem. And it's like, this is a problem that is industry-wide and has been an industry-wide problem for decades. There is no solution.
There is no, just do this.
Yeah. Do you know what the solution is? Don't have a subscription service. That's it. That's literally the only thing that will solve this problem.
Which, oh my God, we get closer to all the time.
We talk about. And it's the same thing with the illegal downloads. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people who are like, oh, yeah, well, did you talk to a lawyer? Did you talk to the site? Maybe if you repriced your things at this or that. Maybe if you did these sort of sales at Comixology. And it's like...
Maybe if you went to their house and threatened their dog.
All of these things could be done, but they don't demonstrably fix the problem. They could, in certain circumstances, lessen the impact, but that's not the same thing as a solution. And with a lot of these creators, who's got the time? None of them have time to be full-time contacting websites and searching out the internet for all of their properties they don't even own. A lot of them are just work-for-hire folks.
I can't remember what book it was, but it was the inker of a book who's like, hey, the book that I work on has, 110,000 views on this piracy site. I can't pay my rent.
Yeah. But like you said to start with this, that's not necessarily 110,000 lost sales.
Yeah, I mean, if all pirating sites stopped dead, your book sales are not going to go up demonstrably.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's...
Demonstratively?
Demonstrably.
Okay, I said it right the first time.
Demonstrably. There's definitely, though, I mean, that's not to say that there are not plenty of people that are illegally downloading books that are doing it because they want to save money and they don't want to spend the money that they were spending on comics. Like, there are definitely people, and I don't know them personally, but I think I can pick them out of former subscribers that basically, once they found out they could illegally download stuff, they started doing that, and they stopped buying comics because it's, as much as we bemoan the collectible aspect of comics, and I wish it didn't exist, for a lot of people, if it wasn't collectible, they would just illegally download them. If they didn't have a collection of Spider-Man comics, they would just illegally download Spider-Man comics if they felt like reading them. So once you kind of decouple the collectible aspect from the comics experience, you do run the risk of people just finding the cheapest way, even if that's illegal, to get their books.
Yeah. But it was such a thing that's in the news right now that a major news site had it.
Yeah.
Not a comics industry news site. I don't remember. I literally read a sentence and then I got to stop and do this.
I mean, it sucks super bad. I wish there were something that could be done. I mean, not only for the creators, but obviously for the middlemen like us that would like to make money off of those sales.
Yep.
And the publishers who would like to make money off of those sales. There's a lot of people in the industry that get hurt by that sort of behavior, but comics is not the only industry where that's happening in. It happens in every conceivable art form.
Well, for these people, these are people that use the internet regularly, are comic fans, and are Challengers fans.
Why? Weird.
They are our patrons.
Do you think they're illegally downloading Challenger stores?
I hope not.
No, I hope not too.
They could just download it for real. Just give us some money and we'll give you the store. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of our patrons at patreon.com/challengers. We did miss this year's special Thank You Patron Day. It was last week or so, and we were just too busy to do anything for it. We've done stuff the last couple years. We didn't.
Sorry, patrons.
And just public thank yous. But you get these pseudo-public thank yous. And I would like to thank our patrons by name. Brand new this level patron, Chris Burton. Chris Burton upped his pledge to be in this level.
Thanks, Chris.
So thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate that.
Good people.
Ryan Hecht, Bridget Neville, who is in a class of her own, Hawaii-based Marcuson Nasso, All Yeah Comics Mark Hammond, Christina McChrystal. Did I say that right? Did I stumble across that, or was that fine?
You got most of the letters.
Yeah, gosh. I was too busy trying to say the name of her Savage Women. I can't remember the name of her troupe or what it's called, so I was thinking of that because I realized I'm giving out extra things for people when I can, and I messed it up. Christina McChrystal, Jacob Sorelli from Kamikaze in Israel, and he had to announce, or his store announced the closing of one of their stores up in the north of their country.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And
at least I'm sorry if it was a bad thing. Like if it's a good thing, like he's wants to work less and be less stressed, then congratulations.
Yeah, it's just a weird time for us to be like, yeah, we're doing a second store, and him being like, hey, congratulations, I'm closing a store.
I'm doing one less.
Oh, but always proud to be in the same industry as him.
Absolutely.
Robert Lane, Morgan Kaiju Perry, who at this very second is on a 2-week vacation in Japan.
Nice.
The aforementioned George Brower, who put a lot of sweat equity into Challengers Blue. Artie White. Michael Romanenko, who likes the Mighty Thor so much that he's getting 3 copies of Thor
At
worthy.
least 3. It might go up.
Yeah, he's definitely worthy. The entire Springham family, who took a neat photo of Challengers from the train platform.
Oh, did they really?
Looking down, it's a weird, you can see in pretty well from looking down. And who came to visit you today?
The kids immediately found the couch where they could sit and read comics. So
I mean, it's not like it's hard.
No, but I think it's neat that they immediately found the space for them.
Yep.
Like, that was one of the concerns with the new layout is, we don't have sidekicks, so what about the kids? And it's they just sit at the front of the store, and that's where the kids' books are, and they read kids' books, and they sit on the couch. Yeah. I think they made, the couch better than they do the chairs and stuff in sidekicks.
Well, they can both fit on the couch.
Right. And they can, laze on them a little bit more.
Yeah. Jose Villagomez, who also, I think, visited today.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Thank you, Jose. Thanks to everybody who visited today, frankly.
Thomas Nagovin from Century Guild. He did not visit today, right?
That I know of.
Yeah.
Maybe he was the male guy. I don't think so, though.
Mitchell Davies from All Star Comics in Melbourne, Australia, who also did not visit, but who sent numerous well wishes as the day was moving on, and was if you could take a photo of you in your blue suit, he would like to see the blue wardrobe.
Oh, I already changed out of it.
I mean, tomorrow.
Oh, I'm not wearing that suit tomorrow.
Oh, the next time you wear it.
Sure, okay.
I cheated and took a picture of my tying my fingernails.
Oh, sure.
And used that.
Okay. Yeah,
but I wasn't actually at blue today. Sorry, Mitchell. I tricked you.
Whenever I do things promoting the store, my assumption is that no one would like to see me in those photos because I wouldn't like to see me in those photos. So I just take pictures of other things.
Yeah, what's going to happen on Restock Wednesdays now? Just going to be the books?
It's probably just the books.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I won't be there to be in them.
We'll need a cardboard Patrick like we have a cardboard Dal.
Sure. Mike Lee, Ryan Alcock, Matt Armstrong, and the aforementioned Robert Burns. Thanks, everybody. We greatly appreciate you being patrons, and as we mentioned, I think last month around this time, we
spent all your money.
Well, look, we got this fancy microphone.
We do. It's great.
Which, by the way, I learned after listening to last week's episode that it still needs to be closer to you.
I'm sorry.
Even though it picks up 360,
I'm just not loud enough.
Or I'm too loud. Take your pick.
Could be both.
We would like to mention the events we have coming up at both locations.
2 stores? That can't be right.
Right? On Wednesday, December 11th, in River North only,
At Blue,
Brian Crowley for the 15th anniversary Hack Slash book, as well as his own book, Hamster Rage. He'll be in from 4 to 6. On Wednesday, December 18th, Daniel Warren Johnson, as we talked about last week, will be at both stores, both Red and Blue, from 4 to 5:30 at Blue and 6-ish to 7-ish at Red. We are foolish enough to be doing a midnight release on...
on December 31st.
No, on January 1st.
Well...
It'll be official. We're not selling books till January 1st.
I know. This is such a tired debate. But for all those who are thinking about things as far as like New Year's Eve, basically.
Yeah, New Year's Eve to Wednesday morning. We'll be doing it will be our traditional midnight releases. This is not a New Year's Eve party.
No.
This is just, if you don't have anything going on and you want to get your comics early on that Wednesday, swing on by. We'll probably have a bottle of champagne, a
lot of bit of the bubbly. That's what he says, right?
That's exactly right.
A lot of the bit of the bubbly.
So you can have some champagne with us, but we will not be open very long after midnight.
No, for sure,
Especially since we both have stores to work for that Wednesday, because we'll be open on New Year's Day at both locations, because that is new comic day for the week.
Yeah, and to stress again, this is only at the Bucktown Challengers Red.
Only at Challengers Red.
Because we're both going to be there.
Yes.
We're not opening individually 2 different stores for an hour.
And then, on Wednesday, January 29th, another double signing from, again, 4 until 5:30-ish at Blue, and then 6-ish to 7-ish at Red. Ryan Brown for the releasing that day Quantum and Woody #1.
I really liked the last issue of Curse Words that came out. That was really good.
Even though
that whole series landed really well.
We both died.
Yeah, I mean, we went out the way we wanted to, being in a New York stadium and being devoured by a trans-dimensional chaos god.
I mean, that's how I always saw it happening.
Yeah, it's just like that old gypsy woman said. It's an Archer reference.
If only you would have told her kid that Batman loved him.
It's an Archer reference.
Or is it a Stephen King reference?
Obviously, it was cool to be in Curse Words at all. That was super sweet of him. But in general, that aside, I really liked how that book went. I thought it started well. I thought there was a bunch of fun twists in it. I think 5 volumes is kind of perfect. And I thought the final issue was really strong. Yeah, it really worked for me as a series. I'm super glad that it's something that we can have as like that kind of, here's the whole story, and just pitch it to people over the years.
Can't wait for the omnibus.
Yeah, the omnibus, and although reading Charles Soule's letter in the end where he's like, maybe I'll do a new story and we'll put it in the omnibus. Like, don't do that. No. Yeah. I kind of really hate when creators do well, here's the super deluxe package and we put a little something special in there for you. Like, cool, so I've been reading this thing monthly for 25 issues and I can just go to hell. But the person who's jumping on with the $100 or $125 one, they get something special. They get the complete package. The rest of us get nothing. So, yeah, to creators who do that, please don't do that. In happier news, I was excited to hear that Charles and Ryan are already working on their next idea. So that'll be something that maybe we'll see in the next year. That's something to look forward to in 2020.
Or 2021.
Yeah, whenever.
But one of the fun parts about the Quantum Woody sign with Ryan is that we'll have a lot of blank covers for that book.
Yeah. Get a little head sketch, maybe.
Yep. That'll be super fun. And
I would like what I'm going to request, and I'm going to say this on the podcast, both so that you can remind me to do it, and also because I know Ryan doesn't listen to it. I don't want Quantum or Woody on my my blank cover. I want the ampersand.
Oh, I see.
Great big ampersand. I want that. And I want the and on my cover.
Got it. I will never mention that again.
Aww.
And also, I will stop mentioning things now because we're done with this episode of Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network in Chicago. And by having to say that, I'm actually mentioning things, and I realized we never did it, so I had to sneak it in at the end. So I just invalidated I'm not saying anything else. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155.
And in the River North neighborhood of Chicago at 750 North Franklin Street, number 103, 312-285-2252.
Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.